6 signs of a hidden psychological threat. Sometimes danger doesn't scream. It sits across from you, smiles at your joke, pours you some tea, and waits. The room looks perfect. People are laughing, paying compliments, exchanging pleasantries. But somewhere inside you, an alarm is already ringing. It's as if you're being watched. Not with eyes, but with a faceless attention. You can't yet put words to it, but your body already knows. Beware. This isn't an enemy rushing in with an open visor. This isn't a quarrel that can be resolved with a single conversation. It's something much quieter, and that's precisely why it's so much more dangerous. People who destroy from within almost never raise their voices. They smile while mentally listing your weaknesses. They nod in support while plotting how to use your trust against you. Such people don't come with fire. They come with a shadow, and that shadow can look like care. Before we go any further, if even one phrase from this video resonated with you, click subscribe now. It only takes a second, but inside the channel you'll find a whole system of Stoic tools that will help you not only spot a shadow, but also remain invulnerable to it. Such people can appear anywhere, at the office, in your family circle, even among those you once called friends. More often than not, they aren't fully aware of what they're doing. Their unconscious has simply chosen you as a screen onto which to project their own pain, envy, or inner emptiness. And if you don't recognize it in time, they'll do all the work for you. First, they'll drain your self-esteem, then gently sow doubt, and then they'll leave, leaving a chill inside you whose nature you can't even explain. But there's another side to this story. These signals can be seen in advance. You can learn to recognize them and protect yourself, not with emotions or the opinions of the crowd, but with a philosophy that forges the spirit, like fire tempers metal. This video explores 6 signs of a hidden psychological threat, how the shadow works behind the mask, and how Stoic wisdom helps you remain calm, clear, and unshakable. Because sometimes strength is simply the ability to preserve yourself, no matter what happens around you. Sign 1. Quiet betrayal. Undermining inner support. The most devastating betrayal is almost never loud. It doesn't begin with a scandal, a fight, or furious criticism. It begins with silence, with a barely noticeable distance, with a cold look where there was once warmth, with a sudden change in the attitude of people you trusted. You don't yet understand what happened, but you already feel yourself losing your balance on seemingly level ground. This kind of betrayal doesn't hit you in the face. It seeps like water through the cracks of a foundation, quietly eroding the foundation on which you've stood for years. Often, such attacks are born not from malice, but from the weakness of the other person. They project their own complexes onto you, envy, a sense of their own insignificance, and, sometimes without realizing it, begin to destroy you just to feel momentarily superior. Could be a boss who once valued your work but has suddenly become cold and indifferent. It could be colleagues with whom you've laughed for months, who now look at you warily, dryly, as if judging. Perhaps you notice rumors swirling around your name, that someone is distorting the facts, tarnishing your reputation, but no one has ever said it directly. You're simply being gently pushed out from within under the guise of neutrality. Stoic philosophy warns, don't rely on externals. Reputation is an illusion. It lives in other people's heads and is subject to the winds of their opinions. Character must be your foundation. If your self-esteem rests on what others say about you, you are already vulnerable. But if it rests on truth, on your actions, on inner harmony with yourself, you are free. You become a rock that cannot be shaken by the gaze of others. The enemy can destroy your name, but he cannot destroy your essence, unless you betray it yourself. Alexander, the hero of this story, recognized the betrayal too late. He was confident until he was alone, until he saw the silence of those around him turn into a wall. He doubted himself, tried to fix things, to fix them, to bring them back, and with each attempt he grew weaker. Only when he let go of the need to please, to maintain relationships at any cost, to save his external role in the eyes of others, did he begin to return to himself. This is exactly what a Stoic does. He doesn't fight for a mask. He maintains connection with his own essence. If you feel someone is trying to destroy you from within, don't fight for the crowd's opinion. Fight for your soul. Remain true to the truth, and no shadow will be able to devour you. Sign 2. The mask of friendship, persona as a weapon. The most dangerous person isn't the one who's openly hostile. It's the one who smiles, nods, supports, and seems genuinely interested in your life, until you start considering them an ally. But behind this mask, there may be cold calculation, and behind the warm words, an intention to one day exploit your trust. They don't try to win you over by force. They enter your life gently, almost imperceptibly, as if by accident. They know for sure that you value sincerity, support, and concern, and they turn this knowledge into a key that opens your door. They say exactly what you want to hear. They're there when you're hurting, and you let them in not out of weakness, but out of a very human need to be understood. The story of Alexander and Daniel is a vivid example of how a rapid rapprochement can turn into hidden betrayal. Daniel seemed completely trustworthy. He listened, supported, and openly admired Alexander's ideas. But over time, it became clear that he was exploiting this closeness to appropriate others' ideas, destroy his colleagues' trust, and shape opinions directly opposed to the truth. Alexander refused to believe this for a long time. He doubted himself, not the other person. He sought excuses, hoping that it was all a misunderstanding. And it was precisely this willingness to justify others' false goodwill that lay the greatest danger. Stoicism reminds us, friendship is not a beautiful word, but a labor proven by time. A Stoic knows that true intimacy is not quick. He does not open up his soul to someone who has not yet demonstrated how he behaves in difficult times. He observes not a person's words, but their actions. He trusts not impressions, but facts. A wise person does not rush. He maintains boundaries because he knows that not everyone who appears to be a friend really is one. A Stoic does not fear loneliness because he relies on reason, not external attachments. He is kind, but not blind, open, but invulnerable. If you feel like someone is too persistent, too quickly trying to become a part of your life, ask yourself a simple question. Why are they doing this? What do they gain from this closeness? And if the answer raises even a shadow of doubt, take a step back and simply observe. Epictetus taught, we must be attentive to what is happening within us and maintain control over our own inner world. Not everything that appears good leads to good, and not every union strengthens the spirit. Therefore, adhere to a simple rule. Trust is not generosity, but a choice. And this choice must be conscious, not dictated by emotion. The mask will fall sooner or later, and it is up to you whether you see it in time. Sign 3, gradual invasion, testing boundaries. No one becomes a victim out of nowhere. A psychological attack isn't a blow out of nowhere, but a slow, almost imperceptible approach. First, a harmless joke with a sarcastic subtext. Then a strange remark concealing hidden aggression. Then an attempt to violate your personal boundaries, still within acceptable limits, but now with a hint of power. A Stoic understands, all great things begin small, and destruction and power are no exception. When someone begins with subtle manipulation, it's not an accident. It's a test, an attempt to determine how self-aware you are and how willing you are to defend your own territory. A manipulator rarely attacks immediately. They observe, take a cautious step, and wait for a reaction. If you remain silent, they take the next step. Thus, step by step, a pattern of invasion is formed. And if you don't demonstrate reasonable firmness early on, it will become increasingly difficult to restore boundaries. A Stoic isn't driven by fear, but remains extremely attentive. They track recurring patterns, notice regularities. They know that where a disturbing pattern appears, there's always reason to be wary. They don't accuse outright, they observe. But they don't turn a blind eye either. Imagine someone starts touching your things without asking, or commenting on your behavior in front of others, or hinting kindly at your weakness. You sense that it's not out of concern, but an ulterior motive. This is the moment when it's crucial to act. A Stoic doesn't engage in conflict, but clearly sets boundaries. Calmly, firmly, without unnecessary explanations. They demonstrate that they won't allow themselves to be broken. One of the pillars of Stoicism is self-discipline, and it applies not only to habits but also to reactions. The ability to not let someone else's behavior upset you is a weapon, but a weapon that requires awareness. It is awareness that allows you to recognize the moment when kindness becomes an intrusion and curiosity becomes a means of control. If you notice that someone regularly, seemingly by accident, hurts your feelings, tests your tolerance, or forces you to justify yourself, ask yourself, who is really in control of this situation? A Stoic does not allow themselves to be drawn into a game whose rules are dictated by someone else. They live by an internal code, and this code does not change under external pressure. Don't be afraid to be firm. Don't be afraid to appear uncomfortable. You shouldn't fear judgment, but the loss of yourself. Every time you allow someone to cross your boundaries, you lose some of your inner freedom. But every time you calmly and confidently stand up for yourself, you strengthen your soul. This is the Stoic path, to be strong not at the expense of others, but through self-respect. Where others crumble unnoticed, a Stoic remains standing, because their walls are built of clarity, reason, and fidelity to their own nature. Sign 4. The silent observer. The threat lurking in silence. True danger doesn't always speak. Sometimes it simply watches, it doesn't interfere, doesn't comment, but it sees everything, remembers everything, analyzes every detail. It doesn't reveal itself, and that's precisely what makes it so unsettling. You feel like someone is always there, always in the right place, and always just in time. A Stoic knows silence doesn't always mean neutrality. Sometimes silence is a mask, a strategy, a way to fit into someone else's life without giving away anything. I'd like to pause for a second, because this is one of those signs where recognition comes the last. If you've watched this far, it means the topic is truly important to you. So subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future analyses of similar hidden threats and practical Stoic defense techniques. Someone who observes doesn't always do so out of simple curiosity. Sometimes, their attention stems not from concern but from calculation. A desire to understand how you live, so that they can one day use this knowledge not for good, but for power. Such a person doesn't show aggression, doesn't directly cross boundaries, and doesn't say too much. That's why you hesitate for so long. Maybe you're just imagining things, maybe you're exaggerating. But a Stoic doesn't ignore intuition. They know the soul senses before the mind can explain everything. And if an inner voice tells you something isn't right, then there's reason to listen. Stoic wisdom doesn't teach suspicion, it teaches observation. It doesn't encourage jumping to conclusions, but it also doesn't allow one to turn a blind eye to disturbing coincidences. If you notice someone hanging around too often, listening too intently, asking too precise questions, stop. Don't panic, but notice it. A philosopher on the Stoic path keeps their attention in the present moment. They don't look for enemies everywhere, but they also don't allow themselves to be blind. They aren't afraid of people. They see them clearly without illusions. They don't speculate. They look at the facts, track repetitions, and sense that invisible line where simple attention turns into hidden intention. If you suddenly notice that someone knows too much about you that you've never shared, it's not a coincidence. If someone is constantly present in your life, but does so without personal involvement, remaining in the shadows, they are not a friend. They are an observer, and their goal is not dialogue, but control. Stoicism teaches, you don't have to explain your feelings to be trusted. You don't have to justify your own caution. You don't have to be open with absolutely everyone. Sometimes the best defense is a healthy restraint and a clear understanding of who is in your life and why. A Stoic doesn't hide from the world. He walks through it with open eyes. But if someone enters their field of vision with an unspoken face, they don't rush to offer a hand. They wait. And if the truth ultimately proves dangerous, they are already prepared, because true strength is not force, but inner stillness. The ability to not let into your soul someone who has come not with good intentions, but with the intention of hiding you under their own shadow. Sign 5. The long game. A shadow driven by calculation. Some enemies act impulsively. They flare up, lose control, reveal themselves with anger and sudden emotional outbursts, and that's precisely why they're the easiest to recognize. Far more dangerous are those who wait. They take their time, they're patient, They can watch you for months, sometimes even years. Their goal isn't to provoke you now, but to subjugate you in the future. Not to destroy you with a single blow, but to break the very foundation. A Stoic understands that not every threat is obvious. Sometimes they study you not because they want to understand, but because they want to exploit you. They ask questions about your life, your fears, your plans. They show an interest that at first seems sincere, but over time begins to feel excessive. You share because you trust, because you don't see a threat. But Stoic philosophy warns, not all attention is good. Those who are too persistent in their pursuit of intimacy are sometimes seeking not companionship, but power. That's why a Stoic values time. He doesn't let just anyone who shows interest into his inner space. He knows that the soul requires protection, and personal space is a sanctuary, not a marketplace of trust. When someone shows persistent interest in your vulnerability, especially during your period of rise, it's a warning sign. He may not take action now, but he's developing a strategy. He's waiting for the moment when you're weakest, when you're most open, and then he acts, precisely, coolly, without unnecessary emotion, but with complete confidence that he'll hit the mark. The Stoic never lets down his guard. Even in moments of joy and success, he maintains inner clarity. He doesn't succumb to euphoria or dissolve in praise. He remains himself, steadfast, attentive, and reserved. He understands that the higher you rise, the more eyes are trained on you, and not all of them are benevolent. Therefore, he acts as a wise strategist, not hiding but also not revealing himself completely. He tells the truth but not the whole truth. He is benevolent, but he maintains boundaries, because he lives not by naivety, but by reason. His protection is not suspicion, but a conscious distinction. Who truly means well, and who is simply waiting for your fall to feel better. True strength lies in resilience, in the ability to not allow either praise or betrayal to change your essence. And even if someone watches you for years in order to one day strike a blow, the Stoic will not be vulnerable at that moment, because he always remains within himself, and someone who stands firmly on an internal foundation cannot be destroyed. Sign 6. Provocation. A stealthy attack on your control center. Some people don't aim to strike directly. They don't hatch complex plans or weave elaborate intrigues. Their weapon is simple. They know exactly where to press to irritate you. Their goal isn't to destroy you from the outside, but to force you to destroy yourself from the inside with your own hands. The Stoic understands that emotions can either strengthen our inner world or undermine it. Therefore, he doesn't deny them, but he doesn't submit to them either. He maintains a distance between irritation and action, between resentment and decision, between impulse and word. Those who provoke you don't do so by accident. They want you to lose your balance, say too much, lose your temper, show weakness, so that you can be accused of lack of restraint, while their own game looks flawless in comparison. Provocation is a test. It is in such moments that a person truly reveals themselves. Some lose control and with it, face. Others maintain their dignity, and thus completely disarm the attacker. The Stoic chooses the latter, not because they are devoid of emotion, but because they are free. They do not surrender control to the actions of others. If someone says something rude, it says something about them, not about you. If someone provokes you, it is their need, not your responsibility to respond. The Stoic clearly distinguishes between the external and the internal. He understands that anger, irascibility, and resentment are reactions we voluntarily allow. He learns to control himself, knowing that no one can make him suffer without his own consent. He does not prove his point by shouting. He asserts his strength through silence. He does not give the expected reaction, and thus destroys the provocateur's entire plan. He might say, "I am responsible only for what is within my control, and my reaction is always within my control." In a world where a person can be thrown off balance by a single comment, a single gesture, the Stoic remains unshakable, because his center is within, because his world is not on the surface, and because he never allows another to become the master of his state. It is in these moments, between external provocation and internal choice, that true strength is born. It is not loud or theatrical. It simply is. And he who can maintain clarity in the midst of a storm rightfully deserves to be called strong. Sometimes the most dangerous threat isn't the one who yells at you, but the one who remains silent but knows exactly where to strike. Not the one who attacks openly, but the one who infiltrates unnoticed. Not the one who argues, but the one who provokes. The world is full of people who wear masks of friendship, politeness, and compassion, hiding their own insecurities, ambitions, and shadows behind them. You may not notice it right away, but Stoic philosophy gives you something that can't be taken away: clarity. A mind tempered by practice can discern who is truly there for you and who has come only to destroy. You can't control other people's actions, but you can always control your own reactions. You can't anticipate every danger, but you can be prepared internally. Preserve your dignity, remain observant, not give in to provocation, and, most importantly, not lose yourself in an attempt to please or hold on to what has long been harming you. A Stoic strength lies not in armor, but in a core that cannot be moved. It lies in a peace born not of indifference, but nurtured by self-discipline. It lies in an awareness that is not afraid to face the truth, even if that truth is unpleasant. Such a person can find themselves alone in a room full of enemies, and still remain at peace with themselves because everything truly important is always within. If this video gave you food for thought, strengthened your awareness, or helped you see something that had long gone unnoticed, don't delay. Subscribe to the channel right now. Here we talk not just about philosophy, but about how to live with open eyes, a clear heart, and a strong inner core. More analysis is coming, which will help you see through people without losing your own warmth. Share in the comments. Have you encountered such people? How did you understand it? And what helped you preserve yourself? Every word you say matters. It's not just a response. It's a space in which people learn to become stronger. Thank you for being here. And remember, true protection is not walls, but the mind. And the most powerful shield you have is your inner freedom.